everybody low key asked for everything. There's like a casual, subtle, not casual, not subtle demand of just the hidden part of our psyche that is engaging with everything more or less. We're demanding everything. We're like wanting everything in multiple different contexts, multiple different outlets and inlets. And the multiple different contexts, outlets, and inlets of how we're demanding for everything. On one of the surface level ways, we're doing it on a consumeristic level, like a societal, engineered, consumeristic, psychological level. And within that, that's bleeding from as a river to like different states of our consciousness, different modes of our consciousness. And all of them are already a thing to make the human beast such that it is as it transforms. And as it's transforming, like we're all transforming in such a way that we don't even necessarily comprehend how we could be transforming. Because if you don't know how you were put together, then you're not necessarily going to know how you're going to transform or how you get impacted and how you receive the energies to begin with. So that's just kind of like on a song. I don't know if you heard that song. The song but it's like a radio. We're kind of like, we're using different parts of our radio stations, like all the chakras. They're their own separate individual radio signals, respectively, as we already know. Like, but that's the thing. That's the feminine outline of what a chakra is. It's an organ being birthed, and that organ having its own ESP, extrasensory perceptions, as it grows uniquely to you. Because that's what all the chakras are, just on an organ level, because that's what they are. Or like, what are the chakras? Simply like the feminine metaphysical esoteric kind of virtue is like that. They're just like, it's a certain, fusion of elements in ether to water taking form into something as like a fleshly body, and but the initial question was how could you prove the chakras? Because the chakras are just the organs simply, and what the organs are that's just the materialization of what was conspiring as a different energy vortex within a certain density of the higher, casual oversoul, respectively. Because obviously there's infinite different reflections of different, infinite types of as aboves that we could tally and gander and cali and candor and whatnot, and have our own candid, objective perspective, subjective, inceptive, receptive, detective, undeceptive, deceptive type of, media outlet of, the different things that are like intermeshing. But we're all changing that, and like the things that like are slowing down our change, or the thing, or like, we're all like evolving. That's why, and as we're all evolving, we're in like there's different lapses of time that stand still, and the different lapses of time that stand still, there's like gaps in between certain elements of how it's like the transition within the transition within, like, in you being in that, you being your own moons, moods, and rhythms of your own inner micro transition with all the different other types of transitions, because the elements are moving in different like ways, like inwardly, outwardly, per their feminine, masculine selves, And that's like life. That's the admin cadmin body. So that's like juxtaposed to the admin cadmin bodies, the solar system admin cadmin bodies respectively. That's the neutral identification of it, of just the feminine, masculine being, the container that it's in, and the container that it's in, it's functioning with a proxy juxtaposition of how the elements are moving and how the elements are formating and how the elements are like, circumambulating and percolating and funky calculating and modulating and recomputating and tithering, the real highest advanced esoteric science ever, That's what it is. But it's like it's also beyond the highest respect within the intelligent conversation. It's also beyond the rhetoric too, because like the mind gets caught up in the mind, but there's like, the mind is multifaceted, you know. It's about exalting the mind and like using the mind as a super ally of like its intelligence, and not getting like, you know, in sunken with, you know, the in darkness of the different swamps that could be created from the shadow of a chakra, and from that shadow of a chakra, a density of that chakra, and then another shadow of that chakra. And that would be a certain context of one of the 9 hells, you know, because on a standard level, there's just like 9 fields respectively. And obviously you could gander that up however you would like to, and like super open source with that, meaning like, you know, recognizing how like who originated the English language, because whoever originated the English language, their original network behind all the other nuanced particularities of a network, that would like something gave rise to something else to be as a post layer, you know, something like is giving like the ultimate sustenance, you know, the particular sustenance, the specific sustenance of what it really means for any network in itself to have a particular type of nourishment. And that nourishment is the information, and the information is how they're using the information within a certain pattern of an action plan. So that's what's being nourished. It's the inspiration of the action plan, and the inspiration, that's what the ultimate oversoul God is doing. So as the ultimate, but we're forgetting that the oversoul God is control of the whole universe, everything. It's like, how is God in control of everything? Well, I just explained it to you. It's like, we're not understanding how the elements are moving. We're not understanding how the space container is moving of the different cadmium bodies of the solar system. And we're not understanding how we're supremely uniquely above and below that in our own spiritual fingerprint, because that would be the spiritual fingerprint. It would be like, how could you recall your truest self? Well, where were you at on your deepest spiritual self, simultaneously in the between travel transition, elemental multifaceted synergy alchemy, you know, hyper supreme multidimensional tactical sciences? Aside from that, we're talking about like your spiritual fingerprint, and your spiritual fingerprint is that which is how you are, what you are right now on this field layer surface of just beingness, and how you actually got specifically to this point that you're at right now, this second, as you breathe, blink, breathe through your nostrils, breathe through your, you know, abdomen, diaphragm, your, you know, upper tonsil of your mouth, your upper, you know, top secret cranial corridor, and your, you know, in your amygdala and your cerebral cortex and whatnot. But that's just being that. It's like, so I only got 12 seconds on this doc, so you have the best life ever. Keep it classic, yo. Keep it classy.